Greetings and bienvenue, midnight crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast, and welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
I want to start this story with some small details that it will put things into context. This happened years ago, starting in my childhood, and ending around when I turned 20 about 3 or so years ago now. My memory is far from the best, and at times I miss details or have blank spots in my memory. It's been like this for since I was a kid. So sorry if all of this seems to be missing details. I'm writing what I can remember and what I'm able to put to words. Also, around the middle of my teenage years I started suffering heavily from mental health issues. Up to this very day I'm not schizo, but I've heard mental illness can do a lot to the brain, so I honestly don't know what's real or not, but it was real to me. Now, with that out of the way, let me tell you the tale of the longest and strangest thing to have ever happened to me. Be me somewhere around 5 to 7 years old. Be running outside as I usually did. Run to a friend's house to see if he wants to come out and play. Ring the bell, nobody answers. Think he might just be out for a bit, so go play on my own for a bit. Start walking down the road. Start noticing that nobody is outside despite it being a sunny summer's day. Go run around anyway. Start to reach the end of the neighborhood road. The end of the road led up a path that went up to the forests, same one where my friend and his family disappeared in. Hear some birds, so I look up at the trees to see if I can see any. See some birds in the trees. I just stand there and watch them. A few min later I hear a cackling coming from above me. Sounded like an old woman struggling to laugh. The laugh was raspy and loud. I heard it echo in the forest. See old lady on a stick flying above me. See her just flying around in circles. She flies to some houses and circles them, getting some stuff from a pouch on her hip and sprinkling it on the houses. See her fingers, long and spindly, almost look dried out and like the skin is clinging to the bone. The stuff she sprinkles has a strange yellow sparkle to it. She flies away still laughing. That was one of the first vivid memories I have of the witch. I have seen her a few times in my life, mostly in my childhood and early teens, and once in my adult life. Pic attached is the closest to what she looked like. Might look silly, but imagine seeing that as kid or in the dark. It's honestly terrifying. Be me around 10 years old. Have a buddy who was not local. Me and him get pretty close. Play every day. One day we both decide to explore the local woods to try and find any old cabins. After a little while we find an old worn down house. Small house, only had around 3 rooms. I get a bad feeling as we walk close. I say we should head back, but buddy insists on getting closer to the place. Don't want to abandon my friend, but can't shake the feeling that we are both in danger. Walk with him to the house. See the door open. An old hunched over woman with a walking stick stands in the doorway. Buddy and me both stop. Old woman raises one of her arms and starts beckoning us with her finger. We both start running away. Old lady does not follow. Hear her laugh as we run. As we make it out we take a breather and start walking home. Both of us don't say a word. Buddy starts walking to his house and I mine. We wave goodbye. Next day go to Buddy's house to ask him if he wanted to go and play at my house. Family was gone. Car was still there. Just assumed they were out. Try next day, still nothing. 3 days pass and Buddy still not home. Start to worry, so I ask my mom if she has seen the family. She asks how I'm talking about. I try and explain, but she says nobody has lived there for years. Ask my dad and he says the same thing, and says not to bring it up again. Ask other friends at school, they give me nervous looks and just say nobody lives there. Honestly, this one still kind of freaks me out. Not the first time somebody has just vanished, but it was the first time everyone I knew just up and denied the very existence of the people that lived there. Only reason I know my child mind didn't just make it all up is because of an old photo of me and old friend in backyard. Otherwise I would have believed what everyone is saying. I know there are more photos. Be me 10 years old. A few weeks after hut incident. Start taking an interest in fairy tales. Read a bit about it in the school library books. Mostly children's books. Scare myself with stories of witches and trolls that eat bad kids. Start wondering if my friend was a bad kid. Wander around like I usually did. Feeling sad 'cause friend is gone. At some point end up at the forest edge again. Too afraid to go beyond the houses. Suddenly hear friend call out, "Help me anon." Get even more spooked. But hearing friend I rush into the forest. Mind goes blank and I just keep running. After a bit end back up at hut. Start freaking out at the sight of it. See old woman on the porch of the hut rocking back and forth. Knitting what looks like a jumper. Just stand there. Can hear my heartbeat in my head. See her look up and as she sees me give me an inhuman grin. Her lips stretch up her face and almost all the way up to her eyes. See her put down what she is making and go inside. Snap out of fear and start running. Hear old woman laughing behind me. Look behind me, she is just standing there. She starts waving. I run back home. Go to my room and start sobbing. Don't know if the voice was her or the many other creatures of the woods, but it led me back to her. The one weird thing, she has never seems to attack or try and take me outright, almost friendly in a strange way. IDK whatever the case may be, it's freaked me out many times and I'm not willing to risk it. I didn't see her for many years after that. Next time was the time she walked past me. Be me. About 15 years old. Walking in the woods as I usually did. Walking on a new path that I have never been on before. Hear someone walking behind me. See an old ass woman. Her nose was bent like a banana and had warts all over. Hunched over and looked like a stereotypical Scandinavian hag or witch. Freeze up in fear. Feels like I can't move at all. Eventually she passes me. Hear her say under her breath, "No, this one won't do." After she passes me I sprint down the hill and back home. What I can add to this, I've never seen her frown. She is always smiling, and honestly I think that's what freaks me out the most. When you think of a witch you think they will be mean or look at you funny if you don't do as they say. However, the only words I've ever heard it say to me is, "No, this one won't do." As if I was too old or some other factor. If you have ever seen an old person that looks like they are about to fall onto the floor and splinter into bones. Yeah, she looked that old. Anyway, on the last time I ever saw the witch. Be me just turned 20. Having a good time with friends online. Having a drink 'cause legal drinking age is 18 and 22 here in Norway. Night goes on as normal, we listen to some music and talk. Eventually get shit-faced and have to head to bed. Somehow manage to get to bed despite hardly being able to walk. Now I sleep like a fucking rock when I'm drunk, but what I heard next was so fucking loud it actually startled me awake. Just to put it into perspective, my neighbor was digging in his yard with a digger and I didn't wake up after a heavy night of drinking. So this was something else. I also no longer lived in my old house at this point, so I was a bit further away from those old woods. I'm awaked from my slumber by a loud ass bell. Hear it ringing in my head. My head is pounding from all the alcohol I have drank and the sound of the bell. Sit up in bed clutching my head. See a hand reach at my side. I recognize it as the spindle arm of the witch. At that moment I think I'm dead. Her hand is in a fist. She opens up her and drops something on my lap. It looks like a type of charm. Look up to see her almost right in my face. I let out a small yelp as I see her face. She puts her finger to her lips as if she is shushing me. She moves away from my face and giggles a little. See her pull out a knife and stab her hand. She looks at me still smiling. Didn't even flinch as she did it. She opens her mouth and raises her head, and puts her bleeding hand over her head. Danger still in the hand. Blood drips into her mouth. She lowers her hand and looks at me one last time before she vanishes. Look around to try and see her, she is nowhere in my room or outside. Charm is also gone. See pic of what it looked like. It were some sticks for a berry bush strapped together with some leather straps. And that's the last time I saw her. I don't know what she did to herself, me, this house, or WTF she did. All I know, I haven't had a single dream since, and I've stopped seeing things. I used to dream a lot of strange dreams before that happened. IDK if there is more that is just blocked from my memory, but this is all I remember. She hasn't shown up since, and I hope she never does again. I've honestly seen enough of her. Whether she is just in my mind or a real entity, I haven't a clue. And honestly, I think I will take my dad's advice on that one and not seek out the answers to that one. I feel it's something better left unanswered for my own sake, honestly. It's not a lot and not all that connected, but it's all I remember and all I'm able to put to words.
This is around Christmas. In the winter here, sun goes down around 4 and even earlier at the peak of winter. Be me around 7 years old. It's about 2 weeks from Christmas. Sun setting. The sky is having a nice orange color. Looking a sky and clouds. Hear some small footsteps in the snow around me. Look down and see little footsteps all around me. Get spooked and start making my way back inside. Before I can get to the door, I see a small figure with a pointed cap run by. Hear it giggle as it runs away. I run inside, run to my mom and cry. What I saw that day was most likely a Nisse that was messing with me. They are small dudes that hang around normally in houses or barns. The house we lived in at the time used to be an old farm and had 2 houses. The other house my dad had made into his workshop, but it used to be a barn, so it probably still lived there. They are mischievous and playful. As long as you don't anger them, they are pretty chill. The Nisse look like pick attached. If farmers anger them, they fuck up their harvest, family lives, and will also kill any animal on the farm to mark that they are angry. If you play nice with them, they just do some mischief from time to time, but help with the farm and keep crops and animals healthy. They are the only thing from folklore I've seen, though I will be honest, I don't want to see the others anyway, since most will kill me. I still have some mental stuff, but I'm more able to deal with it. There is a lot of mischief in my home's old history, so honestly there is a lot I don't know. Even as much as I do know, a lot of local stuff was lost to time due to the Christian takeover. Also, the Nisse has sort of been mixed with Santa and Christmas folklore. That's why they have a sort of Christmas hat looking thing. Though from what I know, that's always been a part of their folklore.
Me 17 years old, in a deep depression. Start seeing figures and hearing noises on the regular. One day walking around just to try and clear my mind. Eventually go up woods and up a hill to get a nice outlook. Get to the top and see almost the area I live in. Sit there having a think about life, death and such. Hear what sounds like a war horn in the distance. Sit there just listening for a while. Hear it again. After about 5 minutes of just listening to it, I see somebody standing at my side. Get spooked, cuss I was the only one there a moment ago. Didn't even hear anyone walk towards me. It's a dude, wearing what looks like cloths from the Middle Ages. He has a long beard and hair. He looks me in the face, giving me a sad expression. He says some words, but I don't understand a thing. Sounds like a mix of Swedish and Finnish. Puts his hand on my shoulder. I jump. He just keeps looking at me with a sad expression. See him literally fade from my sight. Hear war horn sound for the last time. Spooked and confused, I walk home. Don't tell anyone. I realize now that the dude might have been speaking to me in Old Norse or something like it. To this day I don't know what that was. Maybe an ancestor trying to give me a pep talk or something like that. I don't know. That's honestly the wildest one I have. I've never had something just fully be there and then just fade. Honestly, the most spiritual thing I've seen. Maybe it was just my state of mind at the time, but still was freaky.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel, as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.